Now, you could sit here and go, okay, Tom, you're the GOAT. Of course, everyone's going to be mediocre. And you were coached by Bill Belichick. Of course, the other coaching is not going to be as good. Fine, say that. Tom Brady, and I'm saying this as the host of NFL Network, and my job is to make sure you as a fan love the NFL, hear about the NFL, watch the NFL. That is my job, right? But I'm also somebody there as well as here shooting you straight. Tom Brady is 100% accurate when he says this. 100% accurate. Now then, who's to blame for it? Well, here's the deal. In terms of developing players, you cannot, once the Super Bowl ends, okay, have a player in your facility in a spot. You can't even have contact with them, right? Until off-season work. You can't have them in the building until the off-season workout program begins in April. That's new. When NFL Network first started, you could have players in, right, around the clock, and all of these mandatory, not mandatory, but really mandatory things, right?
Right.
And it was insane. It was. Coaches were just like, you're not here. You're not believing in the program. You're not doing everything you need to do to win here. But, Coach, it's not mandatory. Well, says the rules technically, but why aren't you here? Or then the coach is basically saying, well, I'm only talking about the guys who are here. It'd be great to have these other guys here. They would kind of shame these players. And I think the Players Association kind of had enough of that and got in a collective bargaining agreement, negotiation. Hey, we want to codify that you can't make stuff mandatory that is voluntary. Okay. If it's voluntary, that's it. Don't denigrate players or downgrade players on a roster because you take their lack of presence to be their lack of interest in getting better. And I believe the owners were like, how much money is that going to cost us? Oh, not that much? Sold. We'll take something in the collective bargaining agreement that actually is monetary, that's to our favor. You want quality of life stuff? Yeah, we're all for it. And the problem is, though, is that takes the ability to develop players down a notch. And then when you do have the players in your building, do you have time to teach them technique? Do you have time to teach them how to get better? Do you have the time to give them reps? Nope, you don't. You don't. You're taking away from the first teamers that you have in the building as well. That's a problem. I remember, again, in London, Tennessee Titans against the Ravens. I asked Mike Vrabel in the production meeting before the game, hey, how's Will Levis doing? And his answer was, that. I don't know. We don't really have much time to give him reps. That's the way it works. I don't know. I don't know how ready he would be. Had no idea when I asked him that question, Will Levis would be his next starting quarterback because Tannehill got hurt in that game. And that's the other issue, is that when quarterbacks get hurt and they go down, the backups are thoroughly unready to be as good as the starting quarterback. Can Will Levis look good in his first game? Yeah. 3 games in, will he get his ass beat? Yeah. Because it's going to be up and down. He's a rookie. He's really talented. Can he start off like C.J. Stroud? It's a rarity. And the problem is, with the salary cap the way it is, the Joe Flacco's are being signed at the emergency after 3 guys are down and put on a commercial airline to be signed to a practice squad instead of being ready to throw in a game. And he's a Super Bowl winner. He's on his couch because you're trying to get the young kids on your staff, right? And I understand, Flacco doesn't fit what they run for Deshaun Watson in the same way that DTR or PJ Walker does, but neither of those guys have the experience of a guy who won a Super Bowl MVP. And the number of rookie quarterbacks that are starting this year, it's insane. There are going to be, at the end of this week, 52 different starting quarterbacks this year. And 2 of them are starting their first games ever. They're not rookies in Tim Boyle and Jake Browning, but they're starting their first games. Well, Boyle started, my bad, pardon me. Boyle has started before, but Browning hasn't started either at all. 10 quarterbacks are going to make their, this year, Browning will be a 10th quarterback to make their first career start, the 5th most entering Week 12 since 1950. There have been 8 rookie quarterbacks this year with at least 2 starts, second most in a season since 1950. The only season there was more was 2019 when there were 9. It's happening more and more. Look, last year, 2022, the most different starting quarterbacks this year, and to just bring it all full circle, some of these guys don't know. If you're throwing your receiver into a defense where the receiver's going to get blown up, you're going to lose your receiver. You don't know what you're doing. The level of play is going to look worse, more mediocre, and the defender is going to get popped for hitting the receiver in a defenseless position, but the receiver shouldn't have been put in that position because the quarterback should know better, but the quarterback is not developed well enough. And the other reason, because the NFL has totally gotten out of the spring football business. They should tell The Rock, go ahead. Take some of our quarterbacks. Give them some reps. Kurt Warner in hour 1 said he would not have been ready to win for the Rams in 99 if he wasn't an Amsterdam Admiral or an Arena League quarterback. And he's in the Hall of Fame now. How many Hall of Famers are we missing out on because the NFL is like, yeah, it's too expensive to have teams in Europe, but let's send games over there with quarterbacks who aren't ready. Like, if I'm an owner in the NFL, I'm like, how much does it cost to start developing these guys? Because I want these guys to come off the bench ready. I don't want my season to be over. Because more often than not, if you put that up again one more time, the number of different starting quarterbacks, you're going to see your team is going to have, it's going to happen to you. 68 different starters last year. That's what Brady's talking about. Quarterbacks who are unready, coming into games, throwing receivers into spots, defenders are like, where do I hit these guys? I don't know. I'm getting fined. I'm getting flagged. And, game stops, flag on the field. I'm sitting at home saying, what the hell's happening? And that's what Brady means by mediocre. If I'm an owner, I'm like, let's develop these guys. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.